All right, welcome to episode 1 of the Cosmic Vagabonds podcast. Yes, that's right. This is the second episode, but it is episode 1. I am Mike,
I'm Justin.
Mike.
and here we are
Mike and Mike. Two
With-
Mikes.
awesome segues.
All the segues.
We have all the segues. So yeah, it's been over a month and a half, I think, since our last one here. It's tough.
I think so.
It's tough
yeah.
getting everybody together. If our viewers notice anything different about our set, we've got a nice little bookcase back here with some cool stuff on it and some fancy lighting. It's not that fancy, but there's a nice succulent in the back.
Hey.
Who likes succulents? I do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This guy.
So since the last time, we talked about Justin upgrading his phone, and
I did
voila, here it
I
is.
am
He has
officially an
Join Team
Apple.
iPhone.
I have joined Team iPhone, and the only thing that I can say about it is that I never will go back. I love my iPhone more than I thought that I would. It's glorious, and now I sound like the fanboys that I swore that I would hate,
And you,
and I don't care.
you
It's just
got
nice.
the iPhone XR, correct?
Yes, the XR,
with the liquid Retina LCD display.
which is not as it's not as striking as the display that you find, or like the black levels aren't as insane as what you could find on the XS Max
Okay, so
or the I don't know why I keep saying XS. I'm just gonna say 10s and
10,
I'm
10,
done.
10 XS
10,
X.
yeah, 10 and S Max. whatever.
You know what though? It's not a whole lot crazy different.
Oh, I probably should have my face. Let me.
Oh yeah, unlock it with your face.
Unlock it with your
It didn't like my face. It said no.
They're like, who is you?
Say no to your face.
So eventually, if we had some sort of like overhead camera, we could like do this really cool comparison, even though you probably wouldn't see it on the YouTubes.
The tube's you.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, it looks good. I mean,
It's tasty.
it is.
It's certainly tasty.
It's very tasty.
I'm a fan.
Good.
And I'll probably, and now that I know that Apple does this thing where if you want to get the newest iPhone, you just through them basically pay like $35.
Yeah,
Like
the
something like that, yeah.
iPhone for life or iPhone forever or iPhone.
forever.
You're basically leasing or renting your phone from Apple forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
But hey, you get a new one every year. That's what I do, except I do it through Sprint, so it's the same
Same here.
thing.
yeah, I'll probably do
So
it through my carrier
in,
as well. Yeah.
What, April or May, I'll be getting the XS Max.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
Nice.
since I got my 10 in, it was either April or May, I can't remember. But
And the
it was-
10's a good
it was
phone.
The spring. Oh yeah, I like
Oh,
my
yeah.
10.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
On the notes here, I've got how's everyone doing? You know, we're hanging in there. Justin's getting over a little.
Yeah,
thing.
well, what had happened was I was fighting the good fight against a sinus infection. And then yesterday happened where like I slept 3 hours and then my oldest got sick, and so I took him to the doctor at like 7 in the morning. And then there was a film festival that I went to because there was a film that we were part of that was there. And so I was like, I got to go into work early. So there was like no nap, there's no sleep. And yeah, I was beating it. And then all of a sudden, like once it realized that I was sleep deprived and not, devoting any time to get better, it was like, well, thanks for the opening. And it just ravaged the shit
Sometimes
out of me.
they come
it was
back.
terrible.
And sometimes they come back again.
Oh my God.
Here we go again.
I just saw that movie.
Which
on
one? Sometimes they
Amazon.
come back.
Again.
Yes, I saw that on Amazon. I was like, wait a minute. Film nerd. Sorry.
I had that. I had that. That double feature on DVD a long time ago.
Nice.
A long time ago.
long
Yeah.
time ago.
I was like, DVDs?
Back when the days when DVDs first came out.
They were newfangled.
they're now called Blu-rays.
They're called digital downloads. So moving on to our next segment, which is entitled movies.
Yes.
Fancy music to come sometime later.
Who doesn't love a good movie?
No, there we go. Everybody loves a good movie. So Justin, you went and saw Bohemian Rhapsody.
I saw Bohemian Rhapsody. It's a very. I mean, it's. I mean, if you look at the Wikipedia page from like Queen's Wikipedia page, I mean, the film's pretty much that. It just goes through the highs and the lows. It goes through, like, man, the fact that they're like weirdos and like outcasts, and they came together and they made a band. Ended up being killer. And then you have, Freddie coming to terms with sexuality, which I wanted more of that because that was the most interesting shit. Stuff. Sorry, you two.
I don't think it matters. I think last time we actually opened our podcast by saying, "Oh
Yeah.
shit."
Yeah.
Oh
We
yeah,
were talking
that's
over
right.
the intro.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think that was me too.
Yes, it was.
Oh my god, yeah. I got a sailor's mouth. It's ridiculous. But no, Bohemian Rhapsody. It's pretty good. Like it's pretty good. Like I mean, if you want to just have it's the equivalent of Chinese food. It's enjoyable. It's delicious. But then you're gonna be hungry about an hour after you've eaten it. And the
Like
Bohemian-
hungry to go see it again, or hungry just for
maybe for another meal.
more
Like,
content. Like
maybe,
okay,
yeah, maybe for something else. Maybe not Bohemian Rhapsody, specifically, but it's really. But Rami Malek, who, if you've watched Mr. Robot, you know how exceptional he is. He's amazing. He's an absolutely talented dude. I don't think he's going to be doing much TV after this because I think he's going to be a superstar. I think he's just going to be huge.
Oh yeah, I mean I got that from from watching Mr. Robot. He's just crazy talented with his various psychological problems he has going on in that show, and his range of acting is awesome.
Oh yeah, and his Elliot Anderson.
He is definitely a
he's-
rising
he's-
star.
Yeah, he's huge
For
And
sure.
What's crazy? There's a movie called Short Term 12 that had Rami Malek, Brie Larson, and Lakeith Stanfield from Atlanta. Like, if you want to see exactly like where all of this talent that we're talking about now comes from, it's from a movie called Short Term 12. Like, they're all on this movie, and so I mean, it's easy for us to talk about how they're superstars now, but then that movie, you're like, oh man, they were already gonna be there, and so. To see Rami Malek now, like they're already talking like Oscar consideration and all this stuff, which they should because he is that good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I couldn't be more thrilled for him. And then the Mike Myers cameo was just bizarre.
I was listening to the
really
radio.
weird.
I was listening to the radio the other morning, and they were talking about Mike Myers having a cameo in that movie, and somehow they segued into because he was like a British. He had a British accent, and like if he's gonna do another Austin Powers movie, and he was like, "Yeah, baby," like he's totally like trying to get another Mike Myers or another Austin
Oh my
Powers
God.
movie in the can, and I think he's been saying that though for a long time. So
I think since Goldmember, he's like, "There's gonna be a 4, I swear," and that was like 2003.
right, like 15 years later, there's totally gonna be another one, man.
20 years after the fact, guys.
It'll be
right.
an anniversary edition.
Oh my God. When did Austin Powers come out? 98.
Yeah, it'll be like 25 years.
Oh my God.
So while we're in the movies
world,
category,
yeah.
just like we're done with Halloween, and that's usually the time of year when I like to watch scary movies. And me and my wife the other night watched Psycho, and that was my first time ever seeing Psycho, and I
did
loved
it.
it. Yeah, I did it. She was worried I wasn't gonna like it. I'm like, why wouldn't I like it?
Yeah, of course.
And it was great. It was a great movie. The original Psycho, by mind you,
Yeah.
this is, I mean,
It is quite the delight.
yeah, it was a really good movie. So my review is 2 thumbs up to Psycho. Is that like copyrighted? Can I say 2 thumbs up?
I have no idea.
The ghost of Roger Ebert might like show up and just be
2
like,
elbows up.
asking for residuals. Like,
Where's my 2 cents?
okay,
$2.
you owe me money. Just that, like hours on end. Speaking of ghosts, something else I wanted to bring up that if you guys haven't watched it yet, I would recommend it strongly, or anybody else here if you haven't watched it, I also recommend it strongly. The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix is absolutely incredible. It's a slow burn,
Mm-hmm.
but,
How many-
but totally worth it
How many
because
episodes are in there?
I want to say 10.
Okay, that sounds about right.
But yeah, episode 6 and 8 ruined my life because there's all this build. You get to understand the family. There's some members of the family that have like abilities, like they have powers. And then episode 6 happens. Like you get all of this information, all this history of the family, and it's all incredibly interesting. And then all of a sudden, episode 6 happens, and it's as if the director, Mike Flanagan, the showrunner, it was almost as if he was like, you know what? I think I've toyed with you enough. I'm gonna make sure you don't sleep for a while. Because episode 6 is horrifying. Like, you're just like, no, what? No. Hey, stop that. But it's absolutely, it's totally worth a watch. And then episode 8 too is also really messed up. So, yeah, that's really good stuff.
So if you have Netflix, watch it.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
do it.
During our pre-show, we talked a little bit about how, what is it, Nutcracker? See, I don't even know like what about this, what's going on about this movie, but you explained it.
Yeah, there's a movie. It's a movie. No, it's Nutcracker and the Four Realms. It kind of just like there was like a trailer. Wasn't there like a Super Bowl thing or something like that?
Might have been.
I don't know.
It came out. This like little teaser came out like a long time ago, and then you heard absolutely nothing about it. And then like in the last 2 weeks, when I went to go see First Man, I saw a trailer for it, and I'm like, what is that? I'm like, which is never a good sign when they don't ever do any like marketing for a film up until
Right.
Or
a month before it comes
explaining
out.
as, whether or not they're going with the, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm throwing it out there. Like straight from like the books, how they tell the story that you don't normally hear or whatever, the original story, like sort of like
untold story of
Yeah.
Nutcracker and the bleh.
Oops. Yeah. So,
because a lot of times you hear those stories and for commercial purposes they change them
right.
to fit like a certain narrative. So maybe it's like, is this like the original version of the Nutcracker story, or is this just some sort of
Like to the original version of the Nutcracker story is like really scary as hell and
Right.
like supernatural, and it
Yeah.
it was written in, I don't even know, I'm just making something up, like 1450, and it's about magic and stuff.
all I saw was Morgan
Yeah.
Freeman. I'm like,
Huh,
and that was it.
the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
The Nutcracker.
And then like Helen Mirren is in this movie. Like the cast is really good. Like Jack Whitehall, very funny British comedian / actors in it. And I'm like, this is the kind of movie that you don't just sit on. Like, I mean, you should market it at least heavily at some point. And then like, I don't even think there was like really a screening for critics either. So I'm like, oh, that's never a good sign when like you're like, critics, you guys can see it. When do you got time?
there was no reviews. They're like, well, this is weird. So
like say nothing so this movie can make its money back.
So for the viewers, I got this like really cheap number pad off of Amazon to actually switch our camera views, and it worked for about 5 minutes, and now it's not working. So I have no idea why. Maybe because it was $7 from Amazon, but yeah, I actually had hotkeys it up to switch the cameras, and now it's doing nothing. So I have to click on them. So we'll see how that goes, because last time that didn't happen because I forgot.
Multitasking.
Moving down the list, Justin also saw Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
The remake.
The remake, yeah. And
The remake / sequel / reboot /
right, whatever
it's a
you want to call it.
multi-hyphen Halloween movie. It's awesome. I love the old school kind of scares. I like the it's not even really scared. It's just like I like
Suspense.
Michael Myers. Yes, like somebody who actually knows how to be able to shoot suspense. And David Gordon Green does that extremely well. He's brought back the Shape, which is what they've referred to as Michael Myers in the movie, because the Shape is this entity that is everywhere and it's nowhere, and you will succumb to it if you if you aren't careful. Like he's just this quasi supernatural being, and they really did a really great job in the movie making Michael Myers somewhat scary again. Like for me, I've seen so many of these movies, I'm not terrified by it, but watching some of his kills, I'm just like, dude, yeah, Michael's back. Because like Rob Zombie's Halloween was like, Michael just went like on he basically like, if there was a like methamphetamine that like when you smoke it, all it makes you want to do is just like gory murder. Like that's pretty much Rob Zombie's Halloween, and
That's pretty much Rob Zombie in general.
in general,
Like,
yeah, we've just described Rob Zombie. Yeah,
That's just
fair.
Rob Zombie as an entity.
Yeah, as an entity. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's real. It's like Slash. Like, have we ever seen him in a room with anyone else?
It's
is
like
he real?
it's a mythos.
He's a myth.
Okay, Rob Zombie's a myth. You've heard it here first.
Rob Zombie, yeah, he's a myth. But no, it's really well done. Jamie Lee Curtis kills it. That's what I mean. She's in Ryan Johnson's new movie.
Literally, or
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost literally.
Hey, spoilers.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
Jason shows up and
But
gets
speaking
real
of
hairy. No,
the,
kidding.
the reboot remake, for a future episode, we're gonna do a theme as to which movie, whether it's a movie or a franchise, would you want to reboot or remake or rehash? What changes would you like to make to, sort of advance that movie franchise?
Right. So we can pick pretty much anything we want and just say, hey, if we made it, there's a title for that.
Can we please just let that be the music? Just you doing that.
So that will be
good.
that will be a
That's good.
future segment where we will either do one episode about it or do a segment, and each of us will take turns and we'll pick something and discuss.
Because you see so many of those. I mean, you have a set of movies, and then 15, 20 years later, we don't have any original ideas, so let's just remake this franchise again so
Yeah.
we can make more.
Or not even that long. I mean,
No. I mean, Spider-Man had like a 5-year gap before they
Right.
were like,
Yeah,
what?
it's-
We're gonna dive into this web slinging.
in the last when did the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man come out? That was
2002.
so even if it was
Yes.
So even if it was 2000, you say in the last 18 years, Spider-Man's been rebooted 3 times. Well, I guess twice.
Twice. We've had
I mean,
three versions.
3 versions of Spider-Man in the last 15, 16 years, something like
I
that.
almost don't want to count the
in this generation.
Spider-Man 3 Peter Parker because it was so garbage. Like I just want to make that go away.
Yeah, now that would be a good candidate for if we made it.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
How, like
yeah, there you
how
go.
we would take that movie
There
and
you
actually
go.
make it good.
No jazz sequences, no dancing in the middle of the street.
Venom
whatever
would
that
actually
was.
be cool.
Yeah, and-
We'd have maybe 1 villain instead of 3. Let's not overdo it
a
here.
drunk-
guys.
Isn't more better, right, guys?
Oh yeah,
More
yeah,
is
great.
more.
It's great. As long as it makes money, we don't care.
A drunk James Franco. He looked drunk the whole time. You knew this was coming.
He probably was.
You knew this was coming. I'm a goblin now.
Lines,
that or-
lines.
What the hell?
What's my line?
No, it's not cocaine, James.
Just coked out on the glider.
I need more lines.
Cut, James, dude.
This is a completely different movie. That's our movie. That's our movie we're gonna make. Is a coked out James Franco as Green Goblin trying to make it in the world as the CEO of his father's company,
Yes.
And a
Seeing
very-
visions of his father.
In
and
a
only
very-
the way he can see him.
And a very confused Thomas Hayden Church. He's like, "What movie are we making? I'm the only one here that showed up.
What
I'm the
movie are we
Sandman.
making here?
Right? I'm here on time. What's going on? Somebody tell me something. Why is he coked out?
This is the movie we're making now. It's actually a dramatic thriller based upon a drug addict who needs to run a multi-billion-dollar company, and you're his secretary.
Suspense. All the
They turned-
suspense.
Yeah.
They turned Spider-Man 3 into Beautiful Boy, the heroin movie. The movie with
There's-
Timothy Chalamet and like
There actually is no
Yes.
Spider-Man in the movie. They just refer to him often,
Peter just
Yeah.
takes him to rehab at the end of the
Yeah,
movie.
that's yeah. Okay, so there it is. There's our segment. If we made it, which we did right now, unexpectedly.
Sort of as a teaser.
Yeah, we kind
Yeah,
of.
that was a teaser.
Those
Brought
weren't the
that in.
choices that we made.
No.
We sort of.
No,
you
we
know,
that was more of a writer's room kind of take on it.
Yeah.
With no prior preparation. That's redundant.
A drug-fueled redemption filled
So-
Spider-Man 3.
I don't know what we're gonna jump into some trailers here. And like this was just working again a second ago, and now it's not. Look,
for,
there it goes.
Upcoming
Okay.
features.
For some upcoming features, such as these are movies that are coming out soon, right?
Within
That's-
the next
yes.
Within
month.
the next
This
month.
month. Creed
This
2 comes out this month. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
are in November now.
So we got some
Sadly.
Creed 2 action going on here. Get away from their icons. Turn the volume up.
Nothing really matters to him right now, including me.
You gotta think real hard about this. So you got people that need you now.
I'm taking the fight.
Don't do it, kid.
Victor Drago, son of Ivan Drago, who infamously killed Apollo Creed, appeared today to issue a challenge. To
All
run
real
down his
people,
Creed.
by the way.
This is a documentary.
Yeah, right?
That's the same thing your father said, and he died right here in my hands. That kid was raised in hate. It's dangerous.
Dude is a tank, by the way.
He broke
Yeah.
things in me that ain't never been fixed. It ain't worth it.
It's not just us anymore, Dave.
I want to rewrite history.
If you want to fight this man, that's your business.
I really want to see Stallone and Dolph like go at it again.
Round 2.
Yeah.
In an alley, just like Rocky 5.
No, in the Russian wilderness. Montage. Because that was the best montage
That
of the
was.
whole Rocky series. Was him training in
That's the best
Russian
training
wilderness.
montage in any movie, I believe.
Into me. Or you. It can't be.
This looks awesome.
Team.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, everybody. Go see this movie.
Now you know what you're fighting for.
Round after round, you learn more about yourself. And when I stepped in that ring, it wasn't all about me.
I'm so there. I can't wait.
I am so there.
I loved the first Creed a lot. My brother and I went to go see that together. And just the entire time, we're like elbowing each other, getting all jabbed. yeah, man. And just, just whoever came up with the idea of rebooting the Rocky franchise in this way, give them a raise. Like, just
I'm pretty sure Stallone had a big.
Very, very well done, by the way.
Yeah.
extremely well done. Yes.
I don't know if you guys can hear it, but the dog is on the couch right
Yes.
now, whining at us because she's like, "What are you guys doing, and why am I not involved?"
Play with me, hang out with me. What are you doing?
So, just a quick thing related to Stallone. There was a image that I think he posted on Twitter, and I can't remember, of him on horseback with a cowboy hat on and a duster, and this is going to be
Rambo 5.
Rambo 5.
Yeah,
And
I
if
saw
Rambo
that, yeah.
5 is anywhere near like some sort of like modern Western,
Oh my god.
sign me up for that. That'll be awesome.
Oh my god.
That would be awesome.
Like, I think it has something to do with him like patrolling the borders between like New Mexico and Mexico, or Texas and Mexico, and having to do with like human trafficking or something like that.
Whoa.
Rambo's
okay.
got to take him down.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Yeah.
So that was not actually originally part of our segment here, but I just wanted to mention that because that sounds really cool. So next up we've got Crimes of Grindelwald, which is the Fantastic Beast number
Sequel.
2.
Part
Yeah.
deux.
Oops, you know what? I got to be on the right screen to actually click stuff. This is really confusing because I can see it on both monitors. There we go.
Oh, yes.
What's that? A safe house in Paris. Why would I need a safe house in Paris?
Should things at some point go terribly wrong, it's good to have a place to go. You know, for a cup of tea.
My brothers, my sisters, the clock is ticking fast.
Again, these are all trailers that have been out for a little while, but the movies are coming out soon, so here we are.
For truth.
These are the what we call hype videos.
Yes.
The moment has come to take our rightful place in the world where we wizards were free. Join me or die.
The wizarding and non-wizarding worlds have been at peace for over a century. Grindelwald wants to see that peace destroyed.
You want me to hunt him down? To kill him?
To kill Captain Jack Sparrow.
This movie looks like it's got a totally different tone than from the first one. This looks like it's gonna be high suspense,
And the first one was kind of a different tone than any of the Harry Potter movies.
A little more light.
A little bit, yeah.
He'll be fine.
But this one seems like there's stakes, and
Oh, yeah.
how these characters deal with those heightened stakes is gonna make for great magic.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Eddie Redmayne, I'll see anything he makes. So I'm a big fan of his.
I just think it's
He's
cool.
phenomenal. like the cast. Like, I don't
Cast
know
is
how they do
ridiculous.
it. All the Harry Potter movies, you know, the cast is just phenomenal.
Yeah, they're getting like crazy, ridiculously awesome actors, and I think these movies are great because you see a more of a. There's more magic, like both literally and figuratively.
That's your brother?
I think that might have been the best rabbit of my life.
Also
And,
coming
yeah,
very soon.
I really like the first Fantastic Beasts, so I'm super excited for.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people
That's
weren't a fan
the
of the first one.
16th, November
16th.
16th.
You
So a
dare
couple weeks away.
autoplay. I said don't autoplay. Stop it. Oh, look, I cut back to Justin. And
Oh man, that's so good.
I thought I turned that off last time. Remember, we
I
had
was
that
like, what
problem.
movie is this?
That's an ad for something that's not paying us any money. We're just gonna close that tab.
StJude.org. That's what it was.
So what I'm trying to figure out is I have this like nice little keypad thing, but when I'm not in the app, it does nothing. So I have to come back over here, and then I can click back, which I did figure out how to get it to work. I actually have to click in the window.
Okay.
And then it switches.
Speed.
Let me get this ready to go over here.
I don't know why, but I thought that was the same commercial. I'm like, why are we going back to this?
All right, and we're gonna switch over to the desktop again, and
Is this called Aqua Drago?
this is called Aqua Drago.
Buddy, you that fish boy?
Fish boy.
It's fish man.
My son, you could unite our worlds one day. The land and the sea.
Interesting enough, Jason Momoa starred in Stargate Atlantis.
Oh,
I'm nobody.
How about that?
You are part of something deeper.
Full circle.
Yeah.
I can see that.
it actually made Atlantis not look like crap, which a Black Man, dude, Black Manta looks awesome.
Yeah, he does.
That was awesome.
Atlantis has always had a king. Now it needs something more.
But what could be greater than a king?
A hero.
Aquaman. This is gonna be fun.
Rated PG-13. See the new extended video on YouTube now.
Hey, buddy, you that fish boy from the TV?
So
And then
this
it
is a-
starts again because
it's a reboot.
yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Interesting.
Whatever. We'll switch back to us. So yeah, you know, I'm excited about Aquaman. I think
That's coming out just before Christmas.
Yep.
yeah, I
14.
think that's going to be up
No,
there.
I said 21st.
Oh, is this the 21st?
Yeah.
Where did I see 14? It doesn't matter.
21st is the Friday before. I
Yes, it
believe.
is.
So yeah,
Yeah.
because Christmas is on the Tuesday this year. But I think this movie is going to be right up there with Wonder Woman for how cool it is. Just because it looks cool.
You know, and I was really kind of wondering, how do you make an Aquaman movie that doesn't seem lame? Because, like, I mean, all the Aquaman that I ever knew of growing up was he talks to fish, he rides a seahorse. A lot of stuff that I didn't think was going to be like. I was like, how are you make that cinematic? But it looked. I mean, James Wan is awesome. You've seen the Conjuring movies. The dude's good. He's really, really good, actually. And so I'm really excited to see his take on going to Atlantis and Aquaman and Company. It looks really good so far. Patrick Wilson looks very villainy. He's doing his job.
Yeah.
He's looking like a bad guy.
I agree. Looks cool.
But it looks really cool.
Your thoughts, Captain?
I'm gonna go see it. It
Same.
looks like it's gonna be a fun ride. It's not gonna be anything that it's not. You know, it's not gonna be like the Batman versus Superman and Justice League where it feels like it's so too cool for school kind of thing. It just looks like it's gonna be a fun movie.
And I don't want to digress, but I think they did it wrong by doing those movies first and then
Yes.
doing. I mean, they Wonder Woman was okay because that was like a prequel, so that was kind of set outside of that whole realm. And I guess I don't really know what time frame this or like when this takes place. When
No idea.
It doesn't really. There's nothing really
Yeah, I don't
specific. I mean,
know.
we
I
see a
don't know.
submarine.
It's not the
But-
the DCEU is not very linear like
No, I mean,
Marvel.
and that's not that I want to necessarily compare them, but that's the only thing we have to compare against. So I do think they missed the U-boat when
Hey!
when they they started doing this like whole Batman versus Superman thing and Justice League before actually like having these characters fleshed out. I mean, we all know who they are, but still, it just feels like thrown together. Well, I mean, because it was, but
You're not wrong.
so it's like they're like, yeah, we can't really fix that, so that's why we did a Wonder Woman that took place in like way beforehand, and then even the second Wonder Woman's gonna be like still a prequel to everything else. It's like because we have to take these characters that were cool but didn't really work in these movies, and we just got to like do our own thing, but it's got to be like completely separate.
Yeah, and I like DC's new approach now, to where I mean Wonder Woman, 1984, right?
84,
yes. That got pushed to 2020, so I guess we'll figure out exactly what happened there. Probably in the upcoming months, we'll find out what happened to that movie. And then the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie is my most anticipated movie of next year.
Really?
Yeah, I'm so
Really
morbidly curious about how this. When I'm told that it's Taxi Driver meets Batman, I'm like, or meets the Joker, I'm like, what is that?
What does that even mean?
What? And having it set in the 70s, and then I mean, it looks really gritty and really raw.
See,
I'm so there for that, man. Like,
and I
especially
think Joaquin, the way he approaches his roles and how he gets so immersed in the characters that he portrays, I think he's going to do a really good job at it.
Oh, absolutely.
But I also think that he's not going to off himself after doing the role.
Oh,
too soon.
I'm just saying.
No, I get it. I get it.
He's played some really, really messed up characters.
Oh, what was it? Freddy? What was his name from The Master?
Yeah, I mean his character in Gladiator.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Smile for me, brother.
Yeah.
I can't be excited for it because it's so like I mean it reminds me of the Spider-Man thing. Like how many portrayals and how many different people and how many different stories do we have to have for these characters? And does a Joker movie? Are we calling it a Joker movie to for the sake of calling it a Joker movie? Like why can't it just be like a story about the backstory about like a psychopath that ends up becoming a villain? Like why does it specifically have to be the Joker? Just because we want to put it in that universe to say it is?
Because it sells movie tickets.
Bingo. Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that.
That's where I'm getting. But like,
and honestly, if this was a movie that everything that I've seen thus far looks like that there isn't sort of this like craven or like very cynical approach to it. It just kind of looks like they had a great idea for a joking. This podcast brought to you by beer. No, beer and meds.
Beer and meds. Don't combine those kids.
Don't mix them up. You get weird. No, I mean it doesn't seem to be like they're not coming from a place of cynicism thus far. I think it's a mistake. They just cast Alfred and Bruce in the movie, which I think is a giant mistake. I would not do that. I think you should just, if you're going to do a Joker movie and mix it with Taxi Driver, just do that. Like, that's enough. Excuse me. I think you will get a lot of people who are really super interested in a Joker movie where you have a Joker who is essentially Travis Bickle, and you get to see like his descent into complete madness and his animal magnetism that leads other people to also fall down the rabbit hole into madness and become an agent of chaos. I think like that to be is an insanely more interesting movie than just being like, well, we're going to tie it to Batman because we have to.
Well,
like,
if they do it the right way, because they could easily fall off the rails, and that movie could easily just be god awful too.
Could be a disaster.
Could be like Suicide Squad.
Well, and that's what I'm worried about is that it's going to be like Suicide Squad kind of in the 70s.
Like, well, I mean, that is a possibility.
Right. And that's I guess I think that worries me. Like, why not? I don't know. I'll reserve judgment until it comes out.
To be determined.
But I'm just not super excited.
I'm not. I guess mine is more of a morbid curiosity.
Okay, that makes more sense.
I want to see, because if this works out, and then we can make standalone movies with other villains, Like now the possibilities are endless. Like I would love because then you can incorporate them into like the Batman. Like if they made like
Right.
a Hugo Strange movie,
Right.
I'll freak out because I love Hugo Strange. I think he's one of the most underrated Batman villains ever.
I want to see a Clayface movie.
Dude, that
Just,
would
like,
yeah, exactly.
Clayface, man.
That'd be awesome. Or just like a really good Catwoman movie. Not a not a stinker Halle Berry Catwoman movie, but like a based on the Arkham Asylum or like the Arkham series Catwoman, like a movie based around her character. Like that would be cool. If this Joker movie can be what I hope it is, then yay. Then yay. Maybe we'll get these cool standalone movies. I mean, knock on wood. We'll see. Next year, was it October of 19?
Something
No
like that.
idea.
Something to that effect. I think so.
To be announced.
To be determined.
TBD.
So we're gonna move into our next segment, which we're calling shows and stuff. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, that's a placeholder, maybe. I don't know, because it's about shows, which is TV streaming.
We'll figure it out.
Internet stuff. I just finished, and I believe Captain just finished Daredevil season 3.
Yeah,
which is right up there with season 2 for me. I think it was really good. It went in a different direction than pretty much any of the other shows. Your thoughts on that, Captain? Because you haven't started yet, right, Justin?
I'm the outlier here. I haven't seen it yet.
I absolutely agree. I liked the approach for season 3. And I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, all right, I see where things are headed and where they're going, and what's the payoff? And then, they wait until, essentially the end of the season to get to where everything, was headed, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
It was a really fantastic build up to that, the last episode. Really, I mean, it's just like it was straight up, and you get to the top, and it was just like, and then it was a nice they gave 15 minutes to wrap everything up at the end, and
There was a couple bombshells in that season that you're like, wow.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Well, and so, we don't want to spoil anything, and we're not going to, but this gets me onto another topic for Netflix, and that's them canceling shows. So, they canceled Iron Fist, and they canceled Luke Cage, which
blows my mind.
That blows
Luke Cage.
I think you're going to be seeing those on the Disney streaming service.
That was what I was going to say. I think they did that in anticipation of that they didn't want to start production on a show that they're not going to have control over anymore, probably once it goes to Disney. So I think they were just cutting it off right now.
Cutting the losses.
Because I mean, I actually really enjoyed Iron Fist season 2. I mean,
especially the very, 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 very end,
the very last scene.
Yes,
of the season. I'm like, where's this show gonna go?
3?
This is gonna be amazing. No, it was seriously the coolest moment out of
awesome.
Both Iron Fist seasons. Was the last minute and a half of the final episode.
You can spoil it for me. We probably don't want to do
spoilers.
spoilers.
No, we don't want to do spoilers.
Sorry,
we don't want to do spoilers. But it went completely different direction for any Iron Fist that you would like.
It felt like you were about to enter into an Indiana Jones.
That's
movie.
exactly what I was just gonna say. It was like Iron Fist meets Indiana Jones.
That is the teaser. That is the teaser. So watch for that Indiana Jones payoff.
Even if you don't watch either, just if you don't mind spoilers, and if nobody's seen Iron Fist and nobody cares to, just watch the last minute and a half of the final episode of season 2, and tell me that's not a show that you would want to watch.
What the?
I was a little bit upset, and then I saw the ending. I'm like, when's season 3?
Right. Yeah.
Well, there's a rumor that the reason that both of them are canceled, the streaming service is definitely one of those rumors, but the big one that I'm hearing a lot of, is that they're going to do a Heroes for Hire TV show.
I would love that.
Where Luke Cage and Iron Fist are essentially the leads.
That would be that, and I would be.
That
cool
would be
with
dope. I would
totally
watch
definitely
that.
be okay with that.
Buddy cop, kind of,
They have good
back
chemistry.
and forth. Yeah, they absolutely.
They do.
They have good chemistry, and I think that would actually be a show that I think that works.
Well, I made a joke on Facebook or something after watching starting Daredevil season 3, and I said they should make a show called The Best Frienders, where it's like Colleen and Foggy,
the night nurse,
and yeah,
all the supporting
it's like
characters.
all the supporting characters, except for Karen. You know, she didn't make the cut because she was kind of annoying and a little bit annoying in Daredevil season 3. I mean, she ended up like her story arc like came to a nice resolution. It was okay.
Well,
but
they actually gave her backstory.
Yeah, we got her backstory,
which never got before.
That was cool. But for like the first part of the season, I was getting like really annoyed with her for some reason. I don't know if it was just me, but I mean, she ended up like being okay at the end, and it was fine. But when I made that joke, I was like, nah, I'm cutting Karen out of this Best Frienders because like, she's just really annoying me right now, and I don't want her to be in that show.
It's so bizarre seeing that actress, like, because I watched True Blood and seeing her like have vampiric sex on the on a truck bed, and then seeing her so super serious in a suit. I'm just like, I applaud her range, but it just throws me off. I'm like, what? Like, all right.
And she's a big D&D nerd.
Giant D&D nerd.
That was
yes.
Awesome.
Like in real life?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wasn't she on that show?
Yeah.
She was on that show.
No, she did. She did a couple things with D&D 5th edition, and the Dungeon Master Matt Mercer, who is one of the people in Critical Role, but it wasn't a Critical Role thing, but she was a part of. She was one of the characters in that, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
these nerds are coming out of the woodwork.
I know.
I love it.
And
Absolutely,
they're all over the place. Did you watch the whole season, or did you start Sabrina on Netflix?
I'm about 5 episodes in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm watching Chilling Adventure, which it's a minor gripe, but it annoys me to no end. Because I've read The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the comic. I showed you on my phone. Like, I'm reading. I love it. It's so insane and weird and just bizarre. So Netflix was adamant about having it be called Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. My only question is why? That sounds so stupid. It sounds like you literally are making this the title of your show just so you can have the hashtag. Hashtag Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Watch
okay,
it.
so what would you have called it?
Just The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Like, just give it the title. And I don't know why Netflix was so adamant about having the removed. It doesn't the quality of the show does not suffer because there's no the. It's just really annoying.
Okay.
But the show as a whole,
so
5 episodes in, the
one
show
word,
is,
guys. It's just one word.
It's one word.
Just upset over one word. Okay. Okay. Well,
That's the bridge too far. But
kind of a valid complaint. I don't know.
Oh, it's definitely like it's a surface complaint, but whatever. But the show as a whole is it's a bizarre show. It's way more because it's very Riverdale-y. If you've seen or heard of Riverdale or any CW teen show, you pretty much know what you're getting in terms of like the romantic relationships, which I find extraordinarily boring,
very
and annoying,
very TV tropey.
The typical like stuff that goes on,
because I don't believe any of the like Sabrina and why can't I think of his name right now? Harvey. Like their relationship is super nice, super wonderful. It's just like really loving relationship, and they have halos on like around their heads the entire time they look at each other. Like, and I can't stand it. I'm like, not every like relationships, even the good ones, have their moments where it's not the best. I'm like, can you guys show?
But
that
you also have to remember this
once?
is coming from the teen perspective.
I don't even care. Like, I mean,
does it have a talking cat?
Salem is awesome. I'm not spoiling Salem for anybody. Salem is awesome in the show.
The whole, you think it's love, but it's not really love, kind of thing from the teen perspective. We all were there.
True, and
we all were there.
And I wish, and if the show was going to make a comment on that, I would love that more so. If like they actually made it a point to be like, yeah, you guys really aren't going to be together in about like a year and a half, so just enjoy while you can. Like if they had made a note of that, or like actually like very tongue in cheek talked about how like relationships in high school really are kind of meaningless, except for life lessons you learn, honestly. But again, that's another surface gripe. But the show is extraordinarily, if you are a Catholic or if you are a Christian or if you identify with any faith of any kind that is definitely anti-Satan, you are not going to be happy with the show.
Why is that?
Because it is so hardcore, like satanic imagery.
Even more
statues,
than Supernatural?
Way more.
I love Supernatural. I'm a hardcore Polish Catholic, by the way.
See? But you're a sensible one that realizes that. But no, you're a sensible one because you realize that Sabrina and Supernatural, they're works of fiction. It's not like it's a documentary that they're showing.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
We just broke
Baptist. They're promoting Satanism and they're actually casting spells and
these kids are going to buy classic cars and hunt demons with shotguns and salt. Like no,
Which
that's
sounds
not going to
awesome.
happen. Oh, I mean,
know.
If that actually
Sign
was a thing,
me
I
up.
totally would do it.
Yeah, where do I apply for that job?
Go to monster.com. Oh, that's a perfect tie-in too.
Oh,
Missed
yeah,
opportunity.
man.
Missed opportunity.
Okay,
But,
so you're saying that it's good. You like it.
I like it. Some of the morality is really weird. The show, like what they deem to be okay and deem to be wrong, like it's bizarre. So be on the lookout for that. Being a witch actually or a warlock kind of sucks. Like on the show, like it doesn't really because you have to sacrifice everything and there's like blood and just insanity. But definitely watch it. Definitely watch it.
So
especially
if you
into
like
it.
that kind of stuff, then
You'll
go
be
for
into
it.
it.
If that doesn't sound appealing, then
I had reservations because of the very, very close time with Riverdale.
Riverdale connection.
Yeah.
Do they exist in the same universe?
There's one character that, and I think I ran into him, but I don't know Riverdale, so I don't know. But apparently a Riverdale character does show up in one of the episodes. Again, I never would know because I've never seen an episode of the show.
Yeah, me either.
Because it's basically they just took Twin Peaks and dumbed it down, so I have no interest in watching Riverdale at all.
Yeah. Well.
So.
Oh, okay. Well,
sorry
then,
to all of those who are Riverdale fans.
Yeah,
but
you
that's how I
just-
feel about
you
it. You
just-
can love your show.
My mom's gonna quit watching now. She's gonna be like, you know what? I watched the first episode and they were great, but now they're just like dissing Riverdale. So
I'm just not a teen drama person. And that's okay.
I wouldn't mind teen dramas if they were honest.
But they never are.
They never are. There's no honesty in Riverdale at all. So like I can't watch it. There's more honesty in Dawsons Creek than Riverdale, for crying out loud.
wow, that says
Whoa,
a lot.
that's a hot take.
Ooh,
That's
going back to the DC days.
shots fired.
Shots fired, indeed. Come at me, Riverdale. Come on, Greg Berlanti.
so-
Come at me. I love your Flash, but no on the Riverdale.
Segue. I've watched the first, I think, 3 episodes of Star Wars Resistance.
Oh, that's a pretty divisive show. What'd you think?
Disney. I like it. It's very
I like how you're like,
it's very teenage drama. No. But it
Okay.
it does. It reminds me of the early episodes of Rebels, with Ezra and Kanan and their kind of like their dynamic they had. So now you've got Poe and this other kid. Now I can't even remember his name. So. And he basically like leaves him, and he's like, "All right, you're gonna be a spy now. BB-8's gonna be your friend. Keep us updated." And then he just like drops him off at this city and leaves him, and he's like, "Oh, okay. I wanted to be in the Resistance." And
Welcome
I guess
to Star Wars.
Welcome, yeah. So it's very I don't know. I think like I said in the last podcast, I think it is a little bit geared more towards kids than say like Rebels or the Clone Wars.
Right. It's more of Teen Titans Go than instead of Teen Titans.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's as crazy as Teen Titans Go, because that's just like straight up balls of the wall nuts.
Yeah.
It's not. But I'd say it's somewhere in between. It's somewhere in between that.
It's not kid, but a little more adult.
Yeah. I mean, there's some stuff in there, and there's references that like we would get that kids probably wouldn't get as far as like Star Wars references.
Right.
But for the most part, I mean, it's okay. It's not. I'll probably it'll be one of those things where if I got like an hour, I'll just sit down and watch. Like I'm not gonna just like be waiting for each episode to come out. I'll sit down and watch like 3 or 4 at a time. Yeah. I'm not
injected in my veins.
I need it now.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not that hardcore.
I was really worried because I thought that your initial review was like Riverdale in space. I was like, no,
it's totally Riverdale in space
with cartoon.
No, it's more of a
Fascinations.
It's that same Star Wars theme of like being out of place, and like Luke joining up, and Rey like join. It's like they go from this life that they knew and they go someplace completely different. It's like, oh man, now I've got to learn like about other people and like different cultures and
cough.
Trying to find your way in the universe.
Trying to find your way in the universe. Exactly. I think they actually do say that a couple times.
That actually prompts me to ask you guys a question, because I don't know the answer to this. Do you think Star Wars will ever grow up or grow out of that? and actually explore some like really like kind of extraordinarily different terrain, but still Star Wars?
Like a Knights of the Old Republic kind of thing, like go back, like
Kind of, but like yeah, I mean, like you talked about a trope of like the fish out of water, which is a
Right.
lot of what Star Wars is.
Right.
Do you think that they'll ever do anything to where like we will actually get a show behind like the villain's perspective, which is a hero story?
Okay,
but it's
so
the darkest hero story that we'll ever see.
we've got the Mandalorian.
Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau announced that.
Yeah.
So I think that could potentially fit that
I think
description.
That,
maybe.
I don't think
I don't
that's.
know.
I think it's gonna be more of like mercenary neutral, kind of like Punisher like perspective. If you're going by
Okay.
like, it's not necessarily like super good or super evil, but
Chaotic neutral.
kind of
But I think
kind of in the gray area.
I think that gives it a chance though for it to be like what Justin said, where it's not just like taking someone from here and putting them there, and now they're a fish out of water. Like if it jumps into like the Mandalorians and like
Yeah.
this is what they are and this is what they do,
That
and
would
it's
be
like
fantastic.
this
yeah.
is their daily life kind of thing, then like okay, that's cool, that's different. It's not
I
like
mean, they do have material to go off of. I mean, if they take
Yeah.
the Mandalorians from like the Clone Wars and put them on like a live action,
Yeah.
You've got potential there because if anyone knows about the Mandalorians and the race and their home planet, and they're very
They're Vikings essentially.
essentially
they're very warlike, but that's their like MO, and it always has been. So I don't think
but
it's
they're very high on their own their honor.
Mhm.
There's been some outcasts that have caused a lot of fractions in Mandalore's history. You have Death Watch and all that. And so whether or not how much the TV show with Favreau, how much that goes into it,
Yeah.
like who are these characters, how they relate, are they ancestors from like certain like major like houses or something, or it'll be interesting to see the more information we get on that
and
how it's going to steer that.
and this is our
TV show.
first live action TV show, so
Yep.
Yes.
that'll be interesting too to see how they handle that. As far as a lot of it I think comes down to budget for a lot of that stuff too. So we'll see.
Oh
how,
yeah.
if they do like a more like dirty gritty kind of thing, it's like that would be cool.
I'd love that.
Where they're not completely like blowing out the CG in like every scene.
Well, it's going to be
just-
similar to like Star Trek, I think. There's a difference between the TV shows and then like the actual like feature films.
right.
They can't blow $100 million on special effects for each episode.
But they
because
could because they're Disney. they really could.
They could, but I don't know how profitable
true,
that
yeah.
would be.
They can do whatever they want.
For the fans. It'd be great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I'm
just-
sure they have a budget, and I'm sure Favreau. He's got a great track record. So I'm
He's good.
I'm very excited to see what the possibilities of that TV show is going to be. I love everything Star Wars, exception of Episode 2. But
Yeah, it's a total teardown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next, we're gonna move on from there's another one for If We Made It, episode 2.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yes,
next
absolutely.
how
segment
about
we're gonna
just not
talk about
making it in general?
games, or just skip it. Just skip that
Destroy
one
it.
altogether.
Move on.
So the only thing we're really going to talk about in games is Red Dead Redemption 2, which I still have paused on the TV out in the living room.
Yeah.
I haven't played a whole lot. I'm in chapter 2.
I've done like 1 or 2 missions in chapter 2.
Mine is unopened and on a table.
Yeah, we're hardcore gamers. But that's the
Jobs,
thing, though.
man.
I
Life.
know that's the thing. When
That's
you
life.
got
It's-
jobs, you got kids. Like some people sit down, and I think we talked about this before. You're gonna play Call of Duty for 60 hours a week. That's cool. You want to play it, but I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
If I did,
Yeah.
I probably would be. But then I'd be living in my parents' basement.
Yeah.
No offense to those living in their parents' basements. I actually did do that for a while. So.
But no, once I get some free time, I'm gonna play some more of it. It looks amazing and runs amazing on the Xbox One X. That's
Yep.
what I have it for.
Yep, me too.
And I love the Old West setting. Anything that's set in the Old West, whether it's a movie, game, whatever. I'm sold. I'm in.
I mean, I joke
And-
around about it being like a horse simulator or a Western simulator, but it really is. I mean, down to all the crafting and cleaning your weapons and, you know, if stuff starts to break down, it's like, yeah, your gun's not gonna work anymore unless you freaking clean it up. And so
everything, you know, environment, you know, you've got to make sure you maintain yourself, your horse, you know, all your essentials, your equipment, you know, all that stuff plays a factor. And I think that's sort of, you know, where the new age of the games is coming into, you know, is everything matters. Your decisions, you know, how you take care of yourself and the things around you, you know, it makes for a more immersive experience.
Yeah, it's like a hyper realism when it comes to gaming. I mean, it keeps warning me because I like changed my coat or something at my little camp, and it was like, you don't have any clothes for cold weather or hot weather. I'm like, oh man, I gotta get some more clothes. I'm like, it's a freaking video game, man. I gotta get more clothes.
Like, go to Sears. Wait, they were around back then, right?
I don't know, but it is pretty cool though.
Wells Fargo.
You can go into can go into the general store or whatever. Instead of like, you can look around the shelves and like pick stuff you want to buy, or you can actually look. They have little catalogs. You can actually look through the catalog and say like, oh, I want to buy this.
Yeah,
this.
I did at the gun shop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool. You know, you're looks like a magazine.
Yeah, you page through
newspaper.
it. It's in like black and white, and there's like ads in it and stuff.
Yeah. And it shows you like prices and
what?
It's like
it's
so neat.
Oh my God.
The just the minor details of that game is incredible.
Yeah, for sure. So that's good. We're just gonna say it's good. It's good. It's a good game. Play it. Well, we went through all of our normal, I guess you want to say, segments segments that I made titles for.
All the main points.
I didn't know if there was anything else we wanted to talk about. There was. Let me switch back over to the desktop here. I didn't close this tab. Poor prior planning. So I had the Apple website open here. There's Justin's iPhone XR.
Hey.
And just announced this week is the new iPad Pro, which I am super excited about because as a digital artist, this whole no home button and almost edge-to-edge screen is flipping fantastic. Nice magnetic Apple Pencil 2 that actually charges via the magnets and inductive charging when you snap it to the side of the iPad, which if I switch back to our camera here, unlike my iPad, you've got to take this. This is really kind of weird. So first of all, you got this little cap, which is now going away. So there's no more cap to lose, and I've not lost this cap. But you take your Apple Pencil with the lightning connector, and you actually plug it into the end of the iPad to charge it. And every time I do that, it feels like it's going to break off. So I set it off to the side and make sure that nobody else is around it because this little piece of metal stuck in that little piece of metal just, I don't know, something seems like it's going to go wrong. Luckily, it hasn't. But I think magnetic is the way to go. I'm really excited about that. I use this every day for drawing and creating digital content, logos, design, all kinds of stuff like that. So this thing, this is the 12.9 inch, which is what I have. So it's smaller in its form factor, and they said it's about the size of a 8.5 and 11 sheet of paper. So that's pretty cool as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
What else do we got here? That's the keyboard. Oh yeah, It's got Face ID. So no more home button. So just like your iPhone XR and just like my iPhone 10, it's so
you just stare at it.
You just stare at it, but the Face ID works in any orientation that you have it. So if you like the iPhone, you have to have it
face a certain way.
You got to have it vertical like this. You can't turn it to the side. So the iPad Pro, you can turn it this way. You can actually work upside down. Any way you turn it, the Face ID will work and unlock it, which I think is super cool because most of the time you're using this thing, you've got it on your lap or on a table, and you're not just facing it one direction. Face ID. They say that this thing is faster than 92% of mobile computers sold. Not just tablets, mobile computers. So laptops. God. And there's some of the first benchmarks were out on this, and it's actually it's close to like MacBook Pro performance, yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Full Photoshop's going to be coming out on this next year. Not just the dumbed down version of Photoshop. You're talking, they had on their demo, I think she said it was a 3 gigabyte PSD, and it had over 100 layers in it. And they were just working on it in real time on the iPad.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's absurd, but that's also excellent.
Yeah, which that's flipping crazy. So if anybody's interested in that kind of stuff, check it out because it is really, really cool. Do you guys? Oh yeah, and
I like that. Yeah,
it's the first Apple device that has USB-C. So they got rid of the Lightning connector.
They're getting rid of the Lightning port, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. So, okay, 2 things about that because like my MacBook Pro has 4 USB-C ports on it. That's it. Well, headphone jack. No headphone jack on the new iPad Pro, by the way. But with the USB-C connector, you can plug stuff directly into it, like cameras. It's actually can do reverse charging.
Ooh.
So if you have a USB-C to Lightning connector, you can plug your iPhone into it and say, hey, I want to charge my iPhone from my iPad because it's got such a big honking battery in it. You can say,
yeah, it's a beast.
Yeah, you can charge that way. I'm curious, and nobody seems to really know yet, but on the table here, I've got a USB-C little breakout box. So it's got HDMI, so that's how we're getting that over to the TV. It's got 3 USB 3 ports, a network cable, and power, SD card reader. So I'm just wondering if something like that would work on the iPad, as far as being able to use, say, like if I wanted to use a USB mic, if I wanted Ethernet. They did say that it'll do 5K out to a display. So you can run a USB-C to HDMI cable to say like a 4K TV, and depending on the app, like I think they were showing iMovie where they were having using the timeline on here, and then it was showing your program out on the TV in full 4K. So you can use your editing on here and be like,
well,
yeah,
fancy.
Yeah, it's fancy.
And now that I've got my iPhone, and again, Apple's the king of GUI or graphical user interface. I'm going all in. Like I'm done. I found a home.
You found a home. So what else did we want to talk about? Anything? Do we have anything? We are at 1 hour right now, which is what we were going to try and keep it to. I was going to take a minute to promote my website.
Go for it.
Because
do it.
Today's episode is brought to you by Kimmel Design, making your dreams come true. So
every dream,
all of them. I do a lot of digital art and graphic design and stuff like that. So if anybody out there is needing anything, hit me up. Go to kimmeldesign.com. You can check out some of my recent artwork. I did like this whole Avengers Infinity War series. I did a bunch of stuff for Inktober. So I got to update this because I think I only got like the first 17 days on here. But there's some of that stuff. What else do we got? Let's go to my design tab. Some logo stuff. Anywho, that's me in a nutshell. Yeah. So do you guys have anything you want to plug or talk about while we're on the air?
Nothing that I want to talk about yet because it's there hasn't been pen to paper. So once that happens,
in the works right now.
Yeah. Once that happens, then once
soon
it's signed,
we'll have an announcement.
Indeed.
Justin and I will. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Soon.
It's a good Cinema Grove.
It's a good one. It's a big one. It's a big deal. But yeah, it's that the process that no filmmaking team will ever talk about when they make a movie is like that time between like script writing and then writing and then like signing a contract. Like they don't talk about that because they realize how boring that is. And now
tedious, trying to make sure everyone is updated on any new developments.
Hey, do you guys want to hear about paperwork? No, nobody
you guys
wants to
ready
hear
to talk about
not quite
production insurance and who to call and
No.
How much? No, it's
No.
all
We're
boring
gonna
as
call.
shit.
Nobody wants to. Nobody wants to hear that.
They want to hear about Dennis Hopper being in a tree for Apocalypse Now. Like that's what you want to hear about. You don't want to hear about all the legalese and all the other. And you know what? I'm totally fine with it. But it's just until that time happens.
So that's more to come on that. Later.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess we're coming towards the end. And we forgot to do this last time, but if you are watching us on YouTube, which is pretty much the only place we're posting this right now, so you have to be.
Yeah.
Like, comment, or subscribe. Click that little notification bell so you can get our notifications when we post a video. If you don't like us, and we had some dislikes last time, some thumbs down, just give us some feedback. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'd like to know why, or if it's not your jam, that's cool. If you want to give us a thumb down, but just let us know in the comments, like, what's up, man? What can we do to make this better?
Right. Any topic ideas or themes?
Anything?
That the masses would like to hear, and our opinion or input on things. Absolutely.
Yeah, because this is totally a work in progress. So we are, our scope is wide, and not that it necessarily has to narrow any, but we can cover pretty much anything. Really, I mean, nothing's left out.
If you want to talk about weird Soviet art house films, I strangely know a lot about those.
Yeah, that is a very weird thing to know about.
Like, very specific demographic.
The montage movement. It's film nerd.
If you want to hear about hunting white-tailed deer in Michigan, I know about that.
I do too.
Yes, so does Captain.
If you want to know how to hunt terribly, this guy right here.
Yeah.
Catch you guys at home.
All right. Well, all right.
Don't you go changing.
Don't you go changing to try to please me. Oh, Billy Joel.
Don't you go running around a reroute.
With that, I will sign us out, and we will play our intro as an outro later, and we'll see you in the next one.